to talk about a very controversial, and I would say something that is out of extraordinary story. Now, this story is kind of weird in a way, because if you're just going to read it on the surface, people will think that this is what Yahshua did in this story is out of his character. This story is so weird that some people become skeptics and even atheists. And they say this, the enemies of the Bible would say, look at this. This is a story that perfectly illustrates how Yahshua is a spoiled brat. Look at this. He has a temper tantrum. And so this story is kind of very, I would say, kind of weird in some cases, because if you're just going to read the story, there's actually a hidden message from this miracle. And because it is hidden, a lot of people were not able to capture the lesson. And this story actually has a very important warning for all of us, and that includes me. And this warning is something that we should take heed, because if we are just going to ignore it, then we will be just like this thing in the story. So, I don't want to make you wait. Let's just go to the story. It's found in Matthew 21, verses 18 to 19. Matthew 21, verses 18 to 19. Now, this is a story about the cursing of the fig tree. The cursing of the fig tree. Let me just read it to you. Now, in the morning, as he returned to the city, he was hungry. Now, Yahshua was hungry. This tells you that he has experienced human feelings. He's human. He has experienced hunger. And seeing a fig tree, because he's hungry, and seeing a fig tree by the road, he came to it and found nothing on it but leaves, and said to it, "Let no fruit grow on you ever again." Immediately, the fig tree withered away. Now, let's go to the account of Mark, because they have written the same story here. Mark 11, verses 12 to 14. Mark 11, 12 to 14. Now, the next day, when they had come out from Bethany, he was hungry. And seeing from afar a fig tree having leaves, he went to see if perhaps he would find something on it. When he came to it, he found nothing but leaves. For it was not the season for figs. Did you see that, brethren? I want you to take note of that statement. For it was not the season of figs. In response, Yahshua said to it, "Let no one eat fruit from you ever again." Now, this is what I'm telling you, brethren, because some people says, "Look at this. This is irrational, completely out of character." Mark said that it was not the season of figs. What do you expect? Why would Yahshua curse the fig tree when you cannot expect that it should have fruits? So some people say that, some people think that way. But today I'm going to invite you to go through this story, and let's take the lessons, the powerful lessons from this story. And at the end of this message, I would like to share with you the very important warning that we should all take heed. Now, let's first answer the question, what is a fig tree? Okay, what is a fig tree? We here in the Philippines, we are not really familiar with fig tree. I don't know, who among you have seen fig tree? How about that's Ate Lori have seen a fig tree? According to my research, I haven't seen one really. So it says that it could grow up to 20 feet or 6 meters. So that is about times 4 of my height. Yeah, I'm 5'6", so times 4 by height. So it is really high. And this tree is actually part of the mulberry family. We have is that a mulberry outside? Yeah, that's a mulberry, so you have an idea. Actually, the fruit is inside the fruit, something like that, the fruit. And it was said that fig tree was originally found in Turkey and India, and now it is available in warmer countries. And fig trees or its fruits are so common that it is dubbed as the poor man's food. So it is very common. So a lot of people are eating it. And I haven't ate a fig fruit yet, but they said that it boasts a delightful jam-like sweetness, complemented by honey nectar undertones. Can you just imagine how that tastes? Their flavor profile can be likened to a fusion of strawberries, currants, dates, raspberries, cherries, raisins, brown sugar, or even honey. Diba? That makes me curious how it tastes. So, next time, if I will see a fig fruit, I would like to taste that. But that's how it says. Now, we are now going to look into how the Bible used the fig tree. Okay? So that was the secular definition of the fig tree. Now, let's go to the Bible. Now, this is very interesting, brethren. Do you know what tree, the first tree that was specifically named or mentioned in the Bible? Yes, it was the fig tree. It was in relation with the sowing of the fig leaves of Adam and Eve found in Genesis 3 verse 7. So it's kind of interesting. Can you just imagine? As early as the creation, after some time in creation, the fig tree is already there, and it was mentioned in the Bible. Now, I don't know how big the leaves of fig tree. I want to show you the picture of a fig tree so that you could also have an idea how it looks like. So that's how it looks like, the fig tree. So you can just imagine the leaves. Can you please, next, yan, from afar, that's a fig tree. This is how it looks like, the fruits. Next slide, yan. So inside is the sweet fruit, yan. Yan yung fruit nila. So, you could just imagine that, I don't know why Adam and Eve chose the fig leaves. They could have chose different leaves. I don't know, perhaps, maybe the fig leaves have very big leaves. Maybe that's how. I can't imagine if they choose the malunggay. It's very small. I cannot also imagine if they use the coconut leaves. But I think fig tree kinds of cover a lot of spaces, so it's kind of a very good leaf to use as a covering their body. So that's I don't know. I'm not really sure what's with the fig tree that they chose it as their covering. And also in the Bible, let me just show you the list of verses here because I don't have time to mention all of them. So you just take a photo perhaps so that you could take all the Bible passages. So I will not mention the Bible passages anymore. But in the Bible, the fig tree is a symbol of peace, prosperity, and blessing. Also, a fig tree is a symbol of God's judgment. And also, this is very interesting, the fig tree or its fruit is used as a symbol of Israel. Yan. Can you now just get the idea why or how this is related to Yahshua cursing the fig tree? So, we could see here that throughout the Old Testament or Hebrew writing, the presence of the fig tree indicates the blessing or the cursing of God in the land of Israel. So, the more fig tree there are, it signifies that there's a blessing from God. If there's no fig tree, then it signifies the judgment of God to them. Now, with this idea that we have more idea of what fig tree is, let's go back now to the story in in Matthew 21. So at first, it says that Yahshua was hungry. So from afar, he could see that there's a fig tree there. The fig tree has a lot of leaves. So he went to the fig tree and he said, and he was expecting that there should be fruit. Okay? So when Mark said that it was not a season yet, he is actually saying that this fig tree, this particular fig tree, is an early bloomer. Hindi pa season. Okay? It's not season yet for the fig trees, but this particular fig is already having leaves. Now, this is a very important thing for you to remember. Okay? This is very interesting about fig tree. the fig tree produces fruit first before it produces its leaves. Okay? So, when Yeshua saw the fig tree that there are leaves, it was really logical for him to expect that there's already fruits in that particular tree. But because there's none, he cursed the fig tree and he made it wither away. Okay? Now, this is actually a symbolic action of Yeshua. This is a symbolic judgment of Yeshua to the house of Israel. If you're going to read Mark, I don't have time yet, I don't have time anymore, but if you're going to read Mark, this particular story of the cursing of the fig tree is sandwiched in the before that story. It was the cleansing. It was the triumphant entrance of Yeshua to Jerusalem. Okay? It was a triumphant. That's the time when they say, Hosanna, Hosanna. That's the time when they say that. And then, after that fig tree incident, that was the cleansing of the temple. Okay? Just to give you an idea. Now, because of this, brethren, because there was no fruit in that fig tree, it was cursed by Yeshua. This tells us, brethren, that the time of Israel that the time of judgment for Israel has come upon them. And you know what, brethren? Because of this tells us there's the number one message of this particular story is that we must all bear fruit. We must all bear fruit. You know why, brethren? Because that fig tree, brethren, is all leaves. Puro leaves. By far, you could see that, oh, I should expect that this fig tree should have fruit. And yet, there's none. Okay? So, these people, just like the Jewish people at that time, they are all leaves. They don't have fruit. At that time, if you're going to read that story, this happened during the time of around Passover. Upcoming Passover. So, if you could see the temple, they are so busy preparing for the Passover and days of unleavened bread. And then, they are so busy doing the religious and rituals and ceremonies. So, in the surface, they have a lot of leaves. They look so religious. They have the temple, a very grand and beautiful temple. So, it releases an air of religiosity. So a lot of people looking at them, look at these Israelites, these Jewish people, they are so religious. And yet, what do they lack, brethren? They lack the fruit. They are all leaves, but no fruit. And that's why Yeshua was teaching us that we must all bear fruits and not just stop in having that leaves. Now, can you see that, brethren? It is possible that we are putting up a show. Could it be, brethren? It's one thing that we don't have fruits, but what's worse is that we pretend to have fruits. That's why, brethren, we need to ask ourselves, are we all leaves with no fruits? Could it be that we are just fooling ourselves and others? That we appear religious, but in truth, we are not? Could it be, brethren, that we are in the church, but God is not in us? Could it be, brethren, that we are public saints, but we are private sinners? Could it be that we are listening to sermonette and sermons and messages, but we don't let them change our lives, brethren? Could it be that we are overly concerned with how we appear in the eyes of others, but we are not concerned how we look in the eyes of God? You see, brethren, we might be budding a lot of leaves all over, but if we don't have fruit, that would be useless. Now, there are a lot of leaf in our life. There could be a lot of leaf in our life that's fooling us and fooling others that we are bearing fruit, but in reality, we don't have fruits. Our leaves might look like being a super mom or super dad. Our leaf could be looking like the perfect family. Our leaf could be we are able to tithe. Our leaf could be fasting regularly, or it could be we are very busy in doing God's work. It could be that we are giving great, inspiring messages. Our leaf could be possibly posting Bible verses on social media, doing all these things that what we think that religious things to do. And yet, in reality, we don't have fruits. Those things, brethren, become meaningless if those things don't change our heart and our attitude. So, brethren, what are the leaves in your life that you use to fool yourself and others? It's time to examine ourselves, and that includes me and you. Let's do it now, because the time will come when it will be too late. Judgment will come, and just like the fig tree, brethren, no matter how big you are, no matter how many leaves you might have, no matter how attractive you might look like, if we don't have fruits, we will be destroyed and cursed. So, brethren, my sincerest hope and desire for all of us is we don't just produce leaf, but we must bear fruits. Hello, friends! I need your help. If this is not too much to ask, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This should only take 5 seconds of your time, but this simple gesture would help me reach more people and share the Word of God with the rest of the world. You have the power to make a difference in people's lives.